Hi, this is Soul Sync Living. Today, let's journey together into one of the most profound mysteries of existence: the connection between the universe and our own consciousness. Have you ever wondered if your mind is more than just a product of your brain? Could it be linked to the very fabric of reality? Let's explore the quantum universe and its possible ties to the conscious mind. To start, what exactly is quantum mechanics? It's the science of the super small, describing the bizarre world of atoms and particles. Imagine a particle that isn't in just one place but exists in multiple places at once. This is called superposition. It's like a spinning coin before it lands. It's both heads and tails simultaneously. Only when we look or measure it does it choose a state. This act of observation collapsing possibilities into a single reality is one of quantum mechanics' biggest puzzles. Then there's quantum entanglement, which Einstein famously called spooky action at a distance. Imagine two particles linked together. No matter how far apart they are, across the room or across the galaxy, what happens to one instantly affects the other. If one spins up, its partner instantly spins down. This instantaneous connection defies our classical understanding of space and time. It suggests a deep, hidden interconnectedness in the universe. So how could these strange quantum effects relate to something as personal as consciousness? This is where we venture into some fascinating, though speculative, territory. Some scientists and philosophers propose that consciousness isn't just a bystander that observes the quantum world. Instead, it might be an active participant. The idea is that the act of conscious observation is what actually causes a quantum particle to collapse from a wave of possibilities into a definite state. This leads to a mind-bending question. Does reality only become concrete when a conscious mind perceives it? Before observation, is the universe just a shimmering sea of potential? This perspective suggests that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping the physical world we experience. It elevates the mind from a mere biological machine to a co-creator of reality. It's a powerful idea that places us at the very center of the cosmic drama. One of the most famous theories attempting to bridge this gap is the orchestrated objective reduction theory, or Orch-OR, proposed by physicist Sir Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff. They suggest that consciousness doesn't arise from the firing of neurons in the classical sense we usually think of. Instead, they believe it originates from quantum processes occurring deep inside our brain cells. Specifically, they point to tiny structures within our neurons called microtubules. These are like the cell's skeleton. Penrose and Hameroff hypothesized that these microtubules can support quantum superposition. They propose that quantum computations are happening within these structures all the time. According to their theory, these quantum vibrations are orchestrated across the brain, and when they reach a certain threshold, they collapse. This moment of collapse, this objective reduction, is what they believe gives rise to a moment of conscious experience. So each flash of awareness, each thought, each feeling, is essentially a quantum event, a tiny collapse of the wave function happening inside your head. This would mean that our consciousness is literally a quantum phenomenon, tapping into the fundamental rules that govern the universe at its smallest scales. The Orch-OR theory is highly controversial and not accepted by mainstream neuroscience. Many scientists argue there's no evidence that the brain can maintain the delicate quantum states required, as the brain is considered too warm, wet, and noisy for such phenomena. Quantum effects, or quantum coherence, are typically observed in very cold, controlled lab environments. However, the search for evidence continues, pushing the boundaries of what we know. Regardless of whether Orch-OR is ultimately proven right or wrong, it encourages us to think differently. It challenges the purely classical, mechanical view of the brain. It opens the door to the possibility that consciousness is not just an emergent property of complex computation, like software running on a biological computer. Instead, it might be a fundamental feature of the universe itself, something that our brains are uniquely tuned to access. This leads us to a more holistic perspective. What if consciousness isn't confined to individual brains at all? What if it's a universal field, like gravity or electromagnetism, that permeates all of space and time? In this view, our brains aren't creating consciousness from scratch. Instead, they act more like receivers or antennas, tuning into this universal consciousness and filtering it into our individual, subjective experience. Think of it like a radio. The radio doesn't create the music it plays. It simply receives broadcast waves that are already all around us and translates them into sound. Similarly, our brains might be biological instruments that receive and interpret a fundamental cosmic consciousness. This idea, known as panpsychism or a variation of it, suggests that some form of consciousness or proto-consciousness is a property of all matter, not just living beings. From this perspective, the entire universe is alive with consciousness in some form. Every star, every planet, every particle might possess a rudimentary glimmer of inner experience. Human consciousness would then be a particularly complex and refined expression of this universal quality. This would mean that our sense of connection to nature, to each other, and to the cosmos isn't just a feeling, it's a reflection of a fundamental truth. We are not separate from the universe. Looking in, we are the universe experiencing itself. This holistic view can be incredibly empowering. It suggests that our individual consciousness is part of a much larger, interconnected whole. The quantum entanglement we talked about earlier could be seen as a physical manifestation of this underlying unity. The spooky action at a distance might not be so spooky if everything is already connected at a deeper conscious level. This shift in perspective can change how we see ourselves and our place in the world. If we are all part of a single universal consciousness, then compassion, empathy, and love are not just social constructs. They are expressions of our true, interconnected nature. The separation we feel between self and other is, in a sense, an illusion created by our individual biological filters. This doesn't mean we should abandon science. In fact, it's these very explorations at the edge of physics that are opening up these profound possibilities. The mystery of consciousness is perhaps the final frontier of science, where the objective world of physics and the subjective world of experience meet. We are living in an exciting time where these two realms are beginning to speak the same language. Exploring these ideas can be a meditative practice in itself. Consider your own consciousness, that feeling of being you, the awareness reading these words right now. It's the most familiar thing in the world, yet it's the greatest mystery. By contemplating its connection to the vast quantum universe, we expand our own sense of self. We begin to see ourselves not as isolated beings, but as integral parts of a magnificent, conscious cosmos. The journey to understand consciousness is far from over. It requires open-mindedness, scientific rigor, and a willingness to embrace mystery. Whether consciousness is a quantum computation, a cosmic field, or something we haven't even imagined yet, exploring the possibilities enriches our lives and deepens our connection to the universe. We are truly stardust that has become aware. Thank you for joining this exploration with Soul Sync Living. May you continue to wonder, to question, and to feel your connection to the beautiful quantum universe we are all a part of. Follow us for more journeys into the heart of consciousness and the cosmos.